Chapter 18, The Parts That Really Matter. In mid-September, Joe returned from the Grand Coulee with enough money to make it through another year. Joyce had abruptly left her job that summer after the judge had taken an inappropriate interest in her and chased her around the dining table one afternoon. Luckily, she found work with another family nearby. The new job started off on an uncertain note. On the first evening, the lady of the house, Miss Telwright, asked her to make a difficult dish, duck à l'orange, for dinner. Joyce was horrified. She knew what a duck was and what an orange was, but nothing about how to bring them together in a recipe. Miss Telwright found Joyce's effort to be pretty much inedible. Instead of firing her, though, she quietly pulled Joyce aside and suggested that the two of them take cooking classes together. They did, and that turned out to be the beginning of a long and happy friendship. Joe resumed visiting his father at the bakery, and Harry mentioned again that he and Thula sometimes took trips by themselves, which meant Joe could visit his half-siblings without worrying about Thula throwing him out of the house. The first time he and Joyce visited, though they were shocked, they found that his father and Thula had been gone for 3 straight days, and the kids were hungry, almost entirely out of food. Harry Jr., the oldest at 13, said that his parents had packed a pressure cooker full of stewed beef, potatoes, and vegetables, taken a loaf of bread and some canned goods, and gone to Medical Lake in eastern Washington. He didn't know when they might return. Joe and Joyce took the kids out for ice cream, then bought some basic provisions before dropping them back at home. By the next day, when Joe drove by to check, Harry and Thula had returned, but he could not figure out what they had been thinking. Apparently, this had been going on for all summer. Thula had begun to pursue her dream of becoming a violinist. That summer, she had an audition with a major violinist in Los Angeles, and a local radio station had aired a series of her live performances. Now she was bent on getting out of the house, celebrating and enjoying her success. Joe headed back to the Shell house to get in shape for what was to come. Johnny White and Chuck Day showed up too, dusty and tan from Grand Coulee. Coach Ulbrichtsen was back as well, and his desire for Olympic gold had only grown stronger over the summer. He told his wife in private that if he didn't fetch gold in Berlin in 1936, he planned to quit coaching. To pull it off, though, he knew he had to find 9 young men of exceptional strength, grace, endurance, and most of all, mental toughness. They would have to row almost flawlessly in long races and short under all kinds of conditions. They would have to live well together in close quarters for weeks at a time. They would have to perform on most prominent stage in the sport in full view of the whole world. He believed he had such boys somewhere at the Shell house, but